Welcome to Ain't Nothing New Under the Sun. My name is Darius.
I am George.
And like I said, one day we will have our own introduction. There's one song I could use because I helped create the song, and I'm pretty sure the creator wouldn't mind. And George is actually sang the song too, but I don't know. We used it for one of our podcasts one time. Didn't get that much good feedback. So welcome to today's episode. This is 21. It's old enough to drink. Yeah! Woohoo! It's we're gonna be drinking on this episode because he'll be drinking. That's vodka water. That's exactly what Nancy Pelosi drinks when she's live on air.
Pelosi juice.
Yeah, I don't have a video of it, but look at Nancy Pelosi recently. It's insane. She's not doing well, man. It's like, at what point do you just stop? What point do you just stop? You got over 150. I heard recently an estimate of 200 mil in the bank. Go on vacation.
I think she definitely got rich off this COVID thing, also with her stocks and stuff. I think I think she got like 20 million off one of the stocks. So yeah, no, that she definitely made money.
Yeah. So today we're gonna start off the episode. Let's give before I start it off, let's give a little bit of an overview. So I added a quick introduction to this episode that I wanted to add. This is the last minute. I was watching a movie today, and I've actually had this discussion with my sister, George, and a couple other people. I recommend watching the movie. First, before you watch the movie, look up adrenochrome and look up what these elites do and whatnot, and then watch this movie. It's called Death Becomes Her. Oops, sorry. All right. So Death Becomes Her. It's right here in the middle. It's with Bruce Willis, Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn. It's all the good ones. Now, that lady in the middle kind of looks familiar, right? A little familiar. Almost like she's this lady here. George, what's this lady's name again?
Brina Abramovich.
Yes, I just don't want to butcher her name. That's why I'm having George do it for me. Thank you. So, weird correlation. The lady at the top she's an artist. She does fake blood ritual dinners and fake bloodbath dinners. And she's met a lot of the elites, right? Funny thing about the one in the middle, feels like it's almost like a based on true story of her life. The lady in the middle is 71 years old. The lady on top is 73. Yes, she's 73 years old. Look at that. Look at that, right? Yeah, okay, that's a little far-fetched. The one on the bottom looks 22, 25. The one on top looks 35. I've seen girls in Phoenix, Arizona at 25 that had worse skin than her. So, crazy, right? Down here at the bottom.
Gecko skin.
Oh, yeah. Eastern European and other things. Down here at the bottom, that's Meryl Streep looking at adrenochrome itself, which it's all about. This lady has all this like ancient Egyptian and ancient ritualistic decor and boxes, and then she pulls out this adrenochrome that she said that in a world of science, sometimes you need a little bit of magic. I just wanted to add this in because it is on Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, I recommend watching it. It is a classic movie. It's a really good movie. But before you watch it, I want you to look up adrenochrome. I want you to look up Epstein's Island and kind of get yourself like a little basis. Then watch this movie, and you will trip out because it is literally almost based on true stories. Now, obviously, it's not exactly what they do, but something that Hollywood, Luciferians, and Cubisaturnists like to do. They like to, well, they don't like to, it's a part of their religion. If you do believe in Saturnism or Luciferianism, you actually have to have good karma. And to have good karma, you have to bring things to the light. You have to be honest about things you do. So they have to drop little breadcrumbs or cookie crumbs throughout life, and, essentially to atone for their sins. And it gives them good karma. So if you do something bad as a Luciferian or Saturnist, and then you show people that you're doing something bad, it's okay because you're showing them and you get good karma. Maybe that's why Hollywood likes to have movies that are somewhat seemingly ridiculous, show this. Or it could also be social programming to kind of say, hey, when you do find out about this, it's not going to be too crazy because you've seen something like it. Or third option, or they could just, it's a misdirection to say, hey, what? That's just a movie. That's crazy. These conspiracy theorists are just watching movies and getting ideas. So it's probably all three of them, actually. But hey, I don't know. I'm just a guy with a mediocre podcast. So, all right. So I just wanted to throw that in as a quick introduction to our show. Because, I don't like our show being too serious, even though that is a serious matter. Because how they get the adrenochrome, once you look it up, you're going to be like, oh, no, ho-ho. And even in this movie, in the beginning, she's getting blood transfusions, plasma transfusions, and it's just not enough because guess what happens? You're going to always age. That's what happens, Bruce Willis in this realizes that life is meant to be lived and you're meant to die. And that's okay. Your legacy to live forever is through your children and the work you do. Don't tell that to Hollywood because they don't believe in that. So, let's go on to the next item on the agenda. Because all the kids are talking about it, Ghislaine Maxwell. George, take it away.
Ghislaine Maxwell argues for bail, says she's not Jeffrey Epstein. First of all, you're a lot worse.
Yeah, way worse. I was about to say that. I say, yeah, you're not. Oh, I didn't do anything to the kids. I just brought them there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think we already talked about in our last episode. Their charges are FUBAR, as far as there should be more of a rape allegation. Therefore, she wouldn't have, or like people fucking actually said like they were raped by her and
look,
Epstein.
This is the problem. Like we already mentioned, the judge has said that all the evidence that has been taken in the Epstein case, because I don't know if y'all know this, it's not like he got arrested and committed suicide or just got killed on the first day. He actually had trial already. They had information and they had evidence and they destroyed it. And they destroyed it. Why? Because it helps her case to get bail. Because she could say, oh, what people were saying I was doing this. There's no evidence. We already destroyed the evidence for, and the accusations that were against me being just as bad. Because as we know, when we followed the Epstein case, they literally said multiple victims said she partook and she was worse than Epstein. But that's not me. That's the victims. I wasn't there.
So, New York, CNN. Ghislaine Maxwell, the confidant of the accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, argued in a court filing Friday that she should be granted bail while awaiting trial, claiming she wasn't hiding while under a criminal investigation, as prosecutors allege, and hasn't left the country in more than a year. She did not flee, but rather left the public eye for the entirely understandable purpose of protecting herself and those close to her for a crush of media and online attention and opportunities and reputational damage simply for knowing her and lawyers Mark S. Cohen and Jeffrey S. Beluga wrote. They said Maxwell, 58, who has been charged, Jesus Christ, has been charged by New York federal prosecutors for her alleged role in conspiring with Epstein to recruit, groom, and sexually abuse underage girls as young as 14 between 1994 and 1997. So they already fucked that up. It's actually as young as 12, and it was from 1991 to 1997. But dude, this is all
probably
just
farther back than that because she probably did nefarious things under her father's wing when he was grooming her essentially to do this. Not only that, I heard, and I don't know if this is true, I heard from a little birdie that one of her attorneys was El Chapo's prosecutor.
Yeah.
That is like the movie Devil's Advocate. Had no one watched that movie?
El Chapo was charged with child trafficking, so I'm pretty sure she worked.
Well,
yeah.
No, so I heard the reason why he's doing it is because they're going to do like a plea bargain, they're going to ask for bail, and then they're going to give up names, and they're going to cut a deal. And that's why they got the prosecutor from El Chapo, because he prosecuted someone with sex trafficking, child trafficking. And so he knows all the caveats and all the deals that they would do. So they hire him because he's the one who cuts deals for people as a prosecutor. So he knows what they would cut for her, which is a smart move on her part.
Of course it's smart. She's a fucking billionaire.
But hopefully Samuel L. Jackson reenacts The Time to Kill when she gets off. Because yes, I deserve to die, and I hope they...
Her bail hearing is July 14th. So I think Monday or Tuesday.
Wow, so that quickly. That's insane. No bail. Bail, you mispronounced beaten wrong. Okay.
So yeah,
They
here's
keep
the deal.
spelling
She's just
beaten
not
wrong.
charged with pedophilia. She's not charged with she's charged with transporting him, but like she legitly like raped these girls, and like once you throw that on there, bail's ultimately denied in the court system.
And they know this. They're
Yeah.
playing a game. They're playing the American people. They're playing you. You, the listener. You might not be American. You could be German, because I know we have one German listener. They're playing you. You're being played like a fiddle.
And
Okay.
it's this distraction's not helping. Rather, as far as America being racist and all that, like this is a perfect timing for that. Like, this is how you know this is planned. Like,
Well, okay. This is the problem.
because
The
people should be a lot more pissed, Darius. Like,
If you know how the narrative works, as we do, we know how the, people on mainstream media speak, how they work, why they work the way they do. Sometimes it doesn't fit the narrative, right? And, not to get off track, but Trump did a power move. He convinced the president of Mexico to come up to America during this time to officially sign the MSMC trade deal, and said he's going to be working on a new reform of DACA, and he wants to work on prosperity and helping the Hispanic community, even though we know he actually helped the black community, but no one will actually admit that ever. And then the Goya literally, it said they're backing him. And now the council culture is after them. And so the council culture just said, we don't care about Hispanics. But weren't they considered people of color just 2 days ago? They have lost their right of people of color just because Trump is trying to help them and have been backed by the Mexican president, trade deals, and now the largest Hispanic-owned food company. Did you know it is the largest Hispanic family-owned food company in the United States of America? And you have people like Julian Castro, which I can't believe we share the same last name because he's a fucking sellout loser. Is like saying, "Oh, I had this in my growing up. I had this on my shop." We all did, okay? We all did, okay? They have the best black beans, okay? Whatever. So, or I can't call them what they're really called. It is, hey, Julian Castro, did you call him by their real name in Spanish? Because that might make some people mad. Like,
dude. All right, just FYI.
Go back to Maxwell's. Go back to her.
Yeah, according to Maxwell's lawyers, they also claim Maxwell, through her attorneys, has been in regular contact with the federal prosecutors from the day following Epstein's arrest through her own arrest earlier this month. A spokesperson for the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, Nicholas Bias, declined to comment on that claim.
Yeah, so essentially, she has been working this deal. She's been harbored by people. So she wasn't alone in this big-ass house. She wasn't alone in a mansion. You know that, right? It wasn't just her tending the garden and the trees and...
chilling, watching Netflix.
The gate they had to cut to her house was a half a mile. That's acres. She was on acres of land in the middle of New Hampshire. It was like a Stephen King film where she was, or movie or novel, whatever you want to call it. And with people, and working with the government, and working with the prosecutor, they all should go to jail. Sorry, the DOJ should, and the FBI should say, oh, well, you were aiding and abetting a child trafficking monster. You are helping a child trafficker, which in my book might be worse than a terrorist. I don't know about you, but if you steal children...
She's a reptile, bro.
You steal children from their homes, from their lives, and take them to be brutally. Because there's no nice way to commit what they did. And I'm not even getting into the conspiracy adrenochrome side. Even if it's just we took women to this island to be sex slaves that were 14, because I'm going by their number, even though it was 12. But let's go by their number, 14 to 17-year-old young women. So I'm not including the men, the boys, and the children. I'm just
preferably after women that just had their period also.
Yeah.
Or girls.
Yeah, because
like
they're...
adrenochrome.
Yeah, well, that's straight to Baphomet. That's way even more. I'm not going into that conspiracy shit, George, because we know it's true, but I'm going off what the mainstream media is telling me. Yeah. Just the fact of the matter, if she took children, young women, without frontally, their frontal lobe isn't developed yet, their body's not developed yet, their minds aren't ready yet for the world, to become sex slaves. Yes, slaves. Sex slaves. That. You don't think there's no abuse? It's not like it's, we want to say that there's mental abuse and anguish nowadays from words. Well, imagine words and physical abuse. If you said no, you had to be broken to say yes. And then they said it would be wrong, and Geraldo at large, that creep. When I was young growing up, I was like, Geraldo at large, man. Geraldo, you're a hero. Now I'm just like, dude, this guy's a scumbag. Over the last 10, 11 years,
he's been a scumbag in my eyes.
Well, like back in the 90s, when he was doing he did some investigative journalism.
That's what he reminds me of.
Yeah. Looks like you're actually blowing your nose, George. I wouldn't do that on camera. Because if it's like your audio went out, you just look really bad. So, going back, thanks for interrupting me. So, that fucker, okay, said that solitary confinement is torture. Taking her clothes, making her be in solitary confinement with nothing that could hurt herself, and because she's a socialite, she's used to lavish life, is torture. So Geraldo, being 14 and being forced into sex slavery is not torture? It's not torture. Okay. All right. Arrest him now. Arrest him. Go after him. What video, pictures, or what has he done that's weird that she has evidence? Obviously, all these blue check marks, all the people on the Lolita Express have not said anything about her other than something sort of positive. Nothing negative. Nothing. Why don't you say anything negative? Well, obviously she has dirt on you. If you've taken the Lolita Express multiple times, what are we saying is okay about this? Even if you were not a part of the heinous acts, and you just took the flight there, and you just hear like, hey, you going to the after party in the dungeon? Nah, I'm good. I'm going home. All right, I believe that. Yeah, I believe that. I don't believe that when my shit turns purple and tastes like rainbow sherbet. Look at George, the terrorist. Look, that's an accomplice. You helped them. You were there. Okay, let me tell you something. The guy who filmed Ahmaud Arbery die is going to jail for accomplice and manslaughter. Being an accomplice to murder and manslaughter. Okay, I'm not giving an opinion on what happened. But if you're in the same room where they're fucking kids, brutally, and I'm not even getting into the adrenochrome stuff, I'm not getting into the gritty, nitty, the bad shit, the scary shit, the shit that you hope isn't real. You hope to God.
If you don't even have the stomach for this, like, it's hard itself, dude. Like, it's
like bad. I said, I grew up watching the movie, movies like A Time to Kill. You don't mess with children. You do that. Look at people were mad because everyone's like they were redneck racists that did that to the little girl, right? So no one's mad. Everyone's like, yeah, Samuel Jackson, kill him. But when it's a socialite, elite pedophile doing that to a little girl, you're not going to do anything? You're not going to care? Is it nothing to you? Does it mean nothing to you? It's scary. It's sad. How are these lemur, yes monkey, just drones, calcified third eye, pineal gland calcification people can't see how this is the ultimate form of monster? You know, the mobs killed snitches, but would never touch children and kids. And even Shifty Shift today admitted, actually look it up, talking to Maddow, that Trump's a mobster. He did, I swear. He even says, he referred to him as his techniques is how mobsters work, and essentially made a parallel to him being a mobster. All right, so that literally says Trump's a mobster. These people, Ghislaine, most politicians, these snakes, these reptilian scumbags, are pedophile elites. So now we do see that there is a war going on in our government, and a war going on with our politicians, and a war going on with our country. And it's the old guard of elites that got away with everything. 18 years. 18 years of this? 18 years. Or how long were they actually going back till? Not even longer, right? To the 90s? That's 28 years. From 1992 to now. Do you know what presidents were in 28 years? Do you know some of those presidents have been on Lolita Express? So for 28 years, we allowed these monsters to do this? We allowed these monsters to go on Lolita Express? Ask yourself. Like, I'm not saying you have to jump to a conclusion, but you need to ask questions. It's your right as an American citizen, as a human being. If you don't question everything, you're already lost. They won. The second you stop questioning, they win.
Like, that's the whole entire thing, like, not as far as you going into questioning, like, I don't want to, like, talk about it, but, like, the BLM thing, like, no one's questioning it and just kind of accepting it.
Well, people have questioned it, but they are berated, they lose their jobs, or if they are black, luckily, they don't lose their jobs, but everyone doesn't take them serious. And they say racist terms towards them for just going against the narrative. Because, again, the reason why, and I've mentioned this, they're called Black Lives Matter, BLM, is because they can hide behind the wording. You could say, because anytime you go against what they say, they just say, you're being racist. You can't say that. That's the same reason why it's called the Chinese Republic or the People's Republic of China. There ain't nothing for the people or the Republic of China. There is no such thing. It is a totalitarian communist with a touch of crony capitalism, but mainly totalitarian communism. Or you can at least say it's a totalitarian communism with a touch of oligarchy capitalism, because a select few are allowed to have lots of money. So whatever you want to call it, look up what an oligarchy is if you don't know what it means. It means a group of people controlling power. Totalitarian means there's like one leader. It's almost like a dictatorship. But then, because what happens in communism is the strong rise to the top and oppress the small amount, or the majority, right? Because they say the majority's equal, but then they say the majority's equal but worthless, and the small amount come to the top. And we don't want to call it a dictatorship, because it's not. It's totalitarian. We have total control. So, go back to civics, go back to learning history, and or at least go on fucking Google. You can look these things up. But they're actually modifying some terms nowadays and whatnot, dictionary terms.
Dude, I think at this point people are just kind of like in serious debt from school. Like, I'm not sure if you talk to people our age and how, like, they're like 30s, 50 grand in school.
If they're lucky.
Can't afford it. Yeah.
Well, look, this is the problem. That's your problem. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I know. But that's
look,
why their theory is, like, I want socialism, I want them to pay for it.
But that's stupid. Look, Make smarter decisions. I had at one point almost $20,000 in debt, and I have no credit card debt now. Technically, the only debt I have is my vehicle. People don't.
You
really...
didn't go to school, really, either, right? You didn't go to like full on college, right? Like you didn't have to pay that crazy amount. Like you did it without like just being a smart person without going to school.
I did technically go to school.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I paid
but
cash and used grants, and I applied for grants. And
Yeah.
guess what? Half the time I didn't get financial aid most of the time, and like I got loans or grants. But guess what? Like you don't have I don't have my bachelor's degree, but I am going back to school for a technical degree and certification. And guess what? You can make money without a degree, and you could do other things. I read something recently saying it's funny that a lot of you don't need a degree to start a business, but you need a degree to work for that business.
Mhm.
Isn't that interesting? And yes, I almost went to ASU. I technically went to ASU, got in, I moved, and then I got screwed over by financial aid. And I said, what are my options? And they said, you have 1 day to just cancel all your classes, move out of your dorm, move back to California, and go F yourself. And I said, all right, see you later. And I did. And right now I'd be an
That was
engineer.
quick.
Yeah, I was like, well, come over $15,000 now? Oh, just have someone co-sign for you. That's what they told me. Have someone co-sign for you. Look, this is your decisions, though. You decided to go to school for liberal arts. You decided to go to school for psychology, biology, engineering. But guess what?
No offense to any of these people.
I'm saying like engineering's great. You're gonna make good money. You're not gonna make money as a kindergarten teacher. You're not gonna get a... I know people that went to school for jobs that the only job is to teach that in school. And it's like, look, I've known people that make over 100K being, high-end servers, and I've been people that are in $100,000 worth of school debt, and they make $30,000 a year. We all make different choices, decisions, and at the end of the day, we make those decisions ourselves. Once you're an adult and you put pen to paper, there is no going back. That's the scary and crazy part about America. And like, hey, you know what? Instead of asking for socialism, why don't we go into the Nasara Act? Have y'all thought about that? We're getting off topic. We'll have a full episode on
we'll have
on
an episode about that.
Probably the next one, because there's a lot to go into that, and that is the future. And I'd rather have that than socialism, because that's gonna fix all your debt. It's gonna put you all back at zero. It's gonna get rid of the IRS. It's gonna get rid of the Fed. It's gonna reallocate what and who pays taxes and how you pay taxes. All the politicians get to literally reset and say you have to now earn your position until you have 120 days with no funding to figure out how you're going to convince people to vote for you. And hey, it's going to fix everything, but no one wants to do it.
I agree with that. Yeah, exactly.
But hey, let's move on to the next one, because we could keep talking about everything. But look at Maxwell, I'm sorry, you don't deserve bail. You deserve a beating. You deserve horrible things, because you're a monster. And even if you didn't partake in the actual physical act of rape and abuse of these women, you partook in the relocation, the trafficking, and the mental anguish and abuse of these women. And that's not even counting the boys on that island, the young women on that island. This is just what they're saying on mainstream news. So that alone, you should go to prison for a long time. In Taiwan, or is it Taiwan or Cambodia, that they're doing a firing squad on a pedophile? So
both, I think.
All right. So talking about hysteria and going with the narrative always, and how everyone's just going with the narrative. We're going to be talking a little bit about COVID, because again, every day when it dips, they have to rise it back up for some odd reason. The death toll was going down dramatically, and then it just spikes back up in one day. So the weeks of it going down, a month, months actually technically, because if you actually go from the biggest spike was back in like April-ish, And then it's been going down since, technically, day by day. And from the biggest spike to now, it's been over tenfold down. And so, Dr. Evil's like, make them mark COVID deaths more. And so now we're in this. So, George, take it away.
So, COVID-19 update 7 through 9 with data through 7/4, 11th consecutive week of declining. Percentage of deaths due to pneumonia, influenza, or COVID-19. The percentage is below the epidemic threshold of the 5.8 for the week 27, but about the baseline to 5.4. And this is July 9th. It's 7:10 today. And Darius actually sent me a video of the mayor of Phoenix kind of saying how bad it is out there.
Yeah.
Look
it up. She was on the news. She was saying that, so don't just take it from us. She was saying that the morgues are running out of room in the morgue beds, so they're getting freezer trucks to stack bodies. To stack bodies.
For the state has 2,045 deaths, I believe, as of today. So I'm just like, or maybe 2,100 as of today. I don't see don't fucking play this New York shit. Like, New York had 30,000, or I think at 10,000 they started having to get freezer trucks, but only because people weren't, able to pick up the bodies because of the whole entire COVID thing, and people weren't able to have funerals. Dude, I know 2 people that died in Phoenix in the last 2 weeks that had funerals in the whole entire Arab thing, getting together and all that shit. So I'm not sure, because I think I tweeted right after it. I was like, fear mongering is a good way to get good power, or a good way to get more power. And it
was all about power. She literally said, out of her own mouth, if the governor gave her more power, in the beginning, this wouldn't have happened. That's what she said. So one of two things are going to happen. She's trying to become governor next, or she's trying to get more power in the meantime until she tries to go for governor. But look, Phoenix, Scottsdale has a very high percentage of retirees and elderlies. It is a retirement area. There's a lot of elderly people in there. Just like parts of Florida. Boca Haram. Just kidding. As for my Always Sunny fans, that's for you. No one else. Wolf Cola. God, this Wolf Cola. Sometimes, hold on. I just need. Look, it gets so hot in here. I need to have a Wolf Cola. Hold on. Wolf Cola gets it every time. So going back, not a sponsor, but if they were real, I would ask them to be a sponsor. So, again, we do this for free, okay? This is costing us money to do this. We're not doing this for anybody, but to get the truth out. And, hey, if 2 people talk to 2 people, to 2 people, to 2 people, hopefully it'll spread faster than COVID. So, look, people, it's going down. And they have one day where it bumps back up. Because what happens is, because the news, okay, look how the news works. So the news was death, death, death. But they weren't mentioning that the death was because of Pennsylvania, Michigan, New York, New Jersey, right? Okay, whatever. And so then the deaths are going woo down, but the cases are going woo up, right? So the cases are going up, so they're going cases. And then everyone's arguing, but of course there's more cases because we're testing more. We have the highest rate of testing. We've tested more than any country. And then they're like, well, you don't have a real plan for testing. You're just testing people. Well, it doesn't matter. We're still testing more than anyone per capita and overall. So not even percentage-wise of our actual amount of people we have. So 1 out of we're doing what? I think it was 17 out of 1,000 last time I checked. It was a week or 2 ago. That's still higher than the closest one, which was 11 out of 1,000. Not only that, but quantity-wise, we are more than everyone else. We're more than most countries combined. So, we are at almost 40 million tests, right? That's a lot. We've already passed over 10% of our whole entire population being tested. And they're saying, oh, that's still not enough. But then they're shying away because people are like, okay, well, obviously we're testing more, so there's going to be more cases. So hey, what's wrong with that? Oh, okay, well, that's fine, whatever. What's the next thing we need to talk about? And then they scramble and scramble, and then they're like, hey, we just realized that the number that kept going down just went back up for a second because it does this, but it's mostly down here, but it'll go, it ticked up for a day. Send that. So now the news is saying, oh my God, look at there. Now there's an uptick in a spike in deaths, a 1-day spike. So we've had months of decline. Read. Weeks of decline. A whole week of decline. But 1 day of a spike. And again, I'm not saying it's not real. I have 2 sisters now that have had COVID. Both are fine. One was a very healthy woman, not perfectly healthy. Well, one the news would call perfectly healthy, and the other one would say is an average woman. So I had a sister that is not that fit, high blood pressure, overweight, almost 40. She's fine. But it hit her harder, but of course, because what I just listed. Then I had a sister that's super fit, is an athlete in jiu-jitsu, and she's like, I barely felt it. I just couldn't taste for a few days, and I felt like a light cold. And then she's like, that's why I got tested, because she had to, because her husband's an essential worker. So, and he got tested. He's fine. He didn't get it. He doesn't know if he has the antibodies because he might have had it already. So he's waiting for the antibody test because he's going to do that. But he got tested. He's fine. And they were within 6. We were in the same house. They're in the same household together. No one got it from my other sister that was sick. So what I'm trying to get at is look more closely than what they're trying to tell you on the mainstream media, because it's causing mass hysteria. Look, tuberculosis killed 1.5 million people last year. Heart disease in America alone killed 500,000. Cancer killed 500,000. Those are scary things that we are okay with allowing that to happen. But it's causing hysteria, which gets to our next review, because, again, I just want to move past this.
Alright, just FYI, there was that 16-year-old on CNN. Her FaceTime cam was like this. She was hella big, but CNN was like, hey, we don't want to show how big you are, so get this view on the web camera so no one tells your weight. But 16, she was on a ventilator, and she was talking how bad it was. I was just like, all right, good job, CNN. You're mongering. All right, let's go.
She had one of those like thin face filters on.
Yeah, dude, it was literally this angle, and like I'm like, okay, like they're just trying to not
her
show
hair
how
goes
big
down
she
right
actually
here,
she is.
so you can only
she had this
something.
hair, like like very, like you can just
Suck on your
tell,
cheeks, goddammit.
Not a healthy person. Like you like it doesn't. A blind man can tell.
We've said
about
this
that.
a million times. Americans are very unhealthy people. I'm sorry, we're unhealthy. I just
She looked 32.
Yeah.
Not 16.
It's like, look, if you got dark rings under your eyes, okay, and you're not tired, or it's not because you're tired. It's not late at night. Like we do podcasts late at night, so obviously we've had a long day. We're a little tired, so we start getting dark rings in our eyes. We get tired. Our complexion's not great. But if you have like dark raccoon eyes, and you're not like hungover, tired, but you're like perpetually tired, that's a liver problem. You're having a liver failure because your liver's so fatty. So when you're a kid and you have dark rings around your eyes, and you're probably having liver failure, and you're probably not going to live until elderly age. So yeah, fuck, man. Again, I mentioned this to George the other day. Did you know? Depending on how fast you kill yourself is how illegal or legal it is. So faster you kill yourself, more illegal it is, right? Slower you kill yourself, more legal it is. So if I, eat a lot and just keep shoving food down my throat and give myself heart disease over a few years and have a heart attack or die of liver failure, heart failure, cardiac arrest, or whatever, what have you, that's legal. But if I tried to like OD or like, shoot myself in the head or get COVID, that's illegal because that's too quick. You're not allowed to die that fast. You're only allowed to die slowly in America. If you die, you can't even have assisted suicide. So, again, if you want to kill yourself, people, do it slowly because that's what's legal in America. If you want to do it quick, that's illegal. Sorry, I'm not trying to, I don't break the law. I am the law. Okay? So just a little side note. So getting back to this. So this is what the hysteria is causing, right? So the side effects of COVID-19, if you don't have COVID-19, but because of the hysteria, not only is the suicide rate up, the spousal abuse, child abuse, sexual abuse, violent domestic abuse is rampant, alcohol abuse, drug abuse. Most of the abuses, if it ends with abuse, it's up. That has gone up tenfold during COVID. Among especially very young kids are committing suicide. Social anxiety. Now they're not going to have TikTok. This is causing hysteria. When you're told every day,
don't kill yourself on Instagram. If TikTok, there was actually like people in India that, because they took it off, killed themselves.
Yeah, and that's
like,
look, I'm also for taking off safety instructions and safety warnings. I'm sorry, look, sometimes Darwinism. I'm not trying to be a dick, but
just gotta like the Tide Pod challenge.
No, when you're young, you're told, hey, don't touch the hot stove. It's hot. Well, you don't have any. You can't understand what that means. Like, I know it's hot. I go outside. It's hot. What do you mean the stove's hot? Right? You don't know the difference between like scorching hot that's at like a high temperature that burns your skin and like a slow hot. Like, whatever. And you keep reaching for the stove. And they're like, you need to not touch the stove. But you don't have in your head, you don't realize, because you don't have any like, way of, reasoning what that hot is. And then finally, they're not looking, and you touch that stove and melt your little fingers. Then you learn a lesson that you will never forget. Don't touch the damn stove. You'll be scarred.
It's
and a lot of kids aren't allowed to learn lessons anymore. And people aren't allowed to learn lessons. And you get these people we have nowadays that think they can do whatever they want, go wherever they want. That lesson that needs to be taught is more than just the stove. It's every which way. People, that feel tough because they beat on their woman or their man, because it does happen in gay relationships, and like to belittle their loved ones, were never taught a lesson. They always just get away with it.
I mean, Chris Brown got famous at 16 and beat the shit out of Rihanna. And he's still famous.
Yeah.
So, like,
I've heard a girl from Arizona who actually recently was partying and in a rap video that said she would let him beat her ass if they were together.
Yeah, but you see a lot of that, man. Like that this generation's fucked. Yeah,
but you're mad about other shit. All right, cool, good for you. Good for you. So look you need to be taught a lesson. And those guys need to be taught lessons. And that's why there's some people out there that teach people lessons. And you get mad because they're taught a lesson. They're told, no, you're being stupid. Don't say that. It's not because you're a color or sexual preference. It's because you're an idiot. That's it. That's half the time. People are just being dumb, pull out a camera, and then say, it's because I'm this way. I had a guy try to hit me with his car, and then pulls out his camera after he tries to literally run me over. And I'm just like, hey man, bud, cool. Like, I'm like, whatever. Like, what? Like, it's also in Arizona, it's open carry. I'm not going to be stupid and hit someone's window and get shot because it's open carry. Most people I met in Arizona had guns in their cars. A lot of women and men. So I'm not going to go crazy. But that's what happens. The problem is you only get one-sided and one narrative. And that's a problem. I'm not saying there's not racists. I'm not saying there's not crazy people. I'm not saying there's not crackheads that hit cars and try to get money off it or anything. But there also are times where shitty people are holding up cameras trying to feel morally superior because they're trying to get clout. They're trying to get some fucking these brownie points for, which is not a racist term. Brownie's the food. It's a brownie point. Look it up. It's a term. Even I'm pretty sure that's even on fucking Urban Dictionary. The old term. So
there was a video. The person's like, "Are you asking the guy like, are you racist because you don't have the mask?" And he's like, "Are you kidding me? Like, because I'm not wearing a mask?" Like, dude, I was just like, she was like, "Do you burn crosses?"
Oh, I saw
like,
that guy.
What?
I saw a guy. That guy was hilarious. He's like, "Yo," and then the other lady starts filming him. Another lady just is like, "I'm morally superior. I need to save this woman. What's on my camera?" And he's like,
Dude.
"You're like monkeys dropping out of a fucking tree." Mind you, they're both white women doing this to a white man. Oh God, that guy was hilarious.
Crosses. I was like, dude, okay, that's like, I don't know, this whole entire like that, like, just because the guy like obviously looked like he hunts and blah blah. I don't know.
Just because he's a fat white dude that likes barbecue.
Yeah,
Look,
exactly.
I'd be like, the only thing I burn are my thighs when I
man.
walk. That's what I would have said. I'd be like, hey, you burned crosses? No, only my thighs when I walk, lady. You're crazy. See, that's the key. Everyone out here, do not be aggressive when someone approaches you. Be funny. Make them feel stupid. That's what I do. I always say a joke. Man, someone's like, you're racist. You're racist. I'm like, yeah, I know. I hate white people. I love black people. They're better than us. You know, like, say a joke. Or like, oh, yeah, only mixed people are the people that should live. Like, something stupid where they're like, oh, I don't know what to say. I need a reset. You know?
Yeah.
I would have been like, yeah, my thighs burn all the time. Like, that's the only thing I burn, lady.
Dude, it's just like, this is fucked, bro. Like, it really is. Like, I don't know, man. Like, in California, it's mandated outside your house you're supposed to wear a mask. Like, I went walking with my mom today by the park. I didn't want to fucking put a mask on. Well, I'm outside walking on the trail. Like, fuck off. I'm not putting on a mask while my mom's trying to, like, build up her, like, oxygen. Like, it's not, sorry. Fuck off. And, like, it's Rancho Cucamonga, people didn't really say anything. So
we know what they voted in. Rancho Cucamonga starts with an R, just like that place. But getting back to the hysteria. So look at people have mass hysteria, and it leads to violence like this. This is a security guard charged with murder.
And the guy was walking away when he shot him. By the way.
Yeah, George, go through the article.
All right. So basically, security guard charged with murder after fighting a man who refused to wear a mask. A security guard in Southern California market fatally shot a man who refused to wear a mask. L.A. County District Attorney Office said. Prosecutor said the Amir Cornucci Hawkins, 38, was charged with murder and the death of Jerry Lewis, 50 years old, according to the district attorney. Lewis entered the undisclosed market without a mask on July 5th, and he and Hawkins got into an argument, officials said. Lewis eventually returned to the market and fought with Hawkins, who then allegedly shot the victim as he walked away, according to prosecutors. Mask with some studies, they had to put this in fucking ABC. Mind you, we're reading everybody's shit.
Yeah, we're reading everybody's.
Masks, which some studies have proved may decrease the risk of COVID-19 transmission, have become a major source of contention for some during the pandemic. In California, masks are required statewide in most settings outside your home. Hawkins is also facing one count of possession of a handgun by felon. Is he dead? Or Hawkins also charged with possession of a handgun by the felon? So they're both... Oh my god, this is just a fucking Dumb and Dumber story.
Yeah.
Like...
Dumb people doing dumb things. And this is the problem.
This is in Gardena.
Look at what's happening.
Hawkins was set bail with $1 million.
In Gardena? They were a fucking El Super, dog. No way they're not. That's why that's why the security guard had a gun. Yeah, they're at El Super. That's I know. Or Cardenas.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like
So this hysteria is going crazy because look, the problem is the over restriction of the mask. I understand. Wear a mask. I wear a mask when I'm at the store.
Darius, they charged a dead guy for this shit.
Yeah, I know.
For
but the thing is, California, like you just mentioned, it has a mandate if you go anywhere, if you're outside, everywhere. And it's like, look, if you're gonna force the mask, force proper masks. Force proper masks. Force the right ones, or hand them out and say, look, everywhere you go, you have to have a proper mask. And or something, or I don't know what to tell you, but like wearing a fucking thin ass doing this isn't doing anything for you.
Saw a guy wrapped his t-shirt around his face today in Vons.
Dude, when we were still living in Arizona, I saw a dude wearing a motorcycle helmet in the store. And he's like, I have a mask on. And I was like,
Fucking, like, people are going insane with this shit, man. It's really fucking sad to see.
It is. Like, it's crazy. It's, and it's like, look, there's a lot of hypocritical BS. And that's the problem, right? It's who can be open, who can't be open. Who's really dying from this? Who's getting sick from this? Who's having problems from this? Who's not having problems with this? Should we open schools? Should we not open schools? Teachers are trying to strike if they have to go back to work.
College junior workers ain't striking.
Yeah. And it's like, look, it's not cool. Like, and this whole stay out of the sun, stay covered up, stay, mouth cover, restrict your oxygen. And it's like, I see these people. I saw this guy, he's a nurse, and he's like, I'm working in the COVID. Look at how many masks I have to wear. I wear this for 12 hours straight. Well, first of all, I know for a fucking fact you're a liar, because I have nurse family. They don't wear the same mask for 12 hours straight. You don't just wear the mask for 12 hours unless you're like, it's not ER. It's not the show ER or Grey's Anatomy. Okay? And it's like, I know nurses, once they're away in their own little thing, they change their mask, or they don't wear it because they're idiots, or, And first of all, I saw a nurse recently in their scrubs at the store. I grew up with a father that did risk analysis for insurance companies, and he was a doctor of public health, went to UCLA. When he saw nurses and doctors in scrubs at the store, or at the restaurant, he would go crazy on them and argue with them about the sanitation issues. Because obviously, you're not taking COVID that fucking serious if you're not taking your own sanitation that serious. So you're telling me some person just squirt blood all over you? Hepatitis fucking C? You're just working on, like the drummer for Motley Crue, and he just squirted blood in your eyes, and you're walking around with that? Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's like, all right, so first of all, don't wear your scrubs everywhere, because that defeats the whole purpose of wearing a mask everywhere. If you're going to wear that gross, dirty, disease-filled, whatever, unsanitary outfit, you're an idiot. All right? And going back to the other nurse, he's like, I had to wear 3 masks a day, a shield, and a hairnet, because of the type of hair he had. And he's like, and you're going to complain about wearing 1 mask in the store? Well, first of all, I don't know if you've ever been to a hospital, but it's cold, right? It's always cold. It's hella cold, man. It's freezing cold. Have you been walking outside when it's 117 degrees, or walking outside or working out and trying to wear a mask while working out? I wore like a medical grade mask at the gym the other day. It was catching the sweat, and it became heavy, and I'm like breathing, and it's spraying. And I'm just like, ah! And it's like, I like when like
so
I like when Bill Nye the Science Guy is like, watch this. Nothing's going through. But it's like, no one's holding their mask like that. If I blow as hard as I can through an N90 mask, it's going to go out this way and this way. He's holding the mask like this, so it's pressed against his face, and he's blowing on a candle. Nothing's happening. Hey, asshole. Is everyone walking around like this with N95 masks? No, they're not.
They're rubber banding it.
They're putting on a piece of cloths that they found out that they don't even wash after use. 2 uses, 3 uses, 4 uses, 5. They're walking around with this, acting like this is gonna help them.
It's
No.
nasty as fuck, dude.
Look, it's like, I'm not saying don't wear a mask. I'm just trying to be a realist. I'm trying to look at both sides. So yes, obviously, if you wear the proper masks in the proper areas, you will limit the transmission of COVID between multiple people. Boom. Yes, I will not deny that. But what I'm saying is 90% of people are wearing the improper mask during the improper times improperly.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was sweating more than 6 feet. It's been months since I worked out. I had some
Juices.
some Texan brisket juices. Okay, I've been smoking meats and grilling meats. I've been eating like a fucking, like a king.
Oh, dude.
I'm still, I can still titty dance. I'm still not, but I'm saying, like, I have that salt buildup. I used to not eat a lot of salt when I was in Arizona, so now I've been eating more salt. So I got that salt sweat buildup. That stuff that like leaves a dark mark on dark shirts, or like a light mark on dark shirts. So, and it's like, okay, most people are more unhealthy than me, sweating all over the place. It's hot. It's humid. Hot everywhere right now. That supernatural heat wave ain't working.
Supernatural heat wave. Shit. Yeah, you fucking dick.
I know. It's like the rain dances don't work, but apparently supernatural heat wave freaking chorus works like a I blow the wind of God.
Dude, people are still like. Granted, they did shut down that whole entire square in Scottsdale, and I get it. It was fucking packed.
What happens when you shut down the square? House parties. What do you think? I know these people. We know these people. I can go on Instagram right now because it's Friday. At what time is it here? It's 10:30 on Friday. People are pre-gaming. I can go on Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok if it's still up, and look at people's stories, and they're them pre-gaming and then partying right now.
It's going down.
So what? They're not taking it serious, and that's the issue. We live in a country where you don't have to take things serious, and for so long you tell people not to take things serious that when you try to wag your finger at them to take things serious, they don't take it serious. And again, it is, if you are so afraid of transmission, stay home, quarantine yourself. Get Uber Eats.
Quarantine's meant for the sick anyways,
Yeah. And if you're so afraid of this, it's like, let that 77-year-old woman at Costco get it and die. If she wants to die, let her die. And I think it's kind of messed up for now to shame a 77-year-old woman. 77-year-old woman. That shame her. And say she was throwing a tantrum on the floor, but 1 week earlier, you're saying that these kids that are literally screaming on the floor, throwing tantrums, kids as in young adults, you praise them for being heroes. She did the same thing. She sat on the floor and protested. The manager said her response to the old lady is a 77-year-old woman's like, I was born in America. The Constitution says I can do what I want. And she's like, well, you're in Costco and you signed a Costco contract. So you're saying Costco has a more constitutional right? Was it on the Indian reservation?
No,
Can I murder someone at Costco? Seriously.
Yeah.
Damn. I never heard of the Costcoians.
You could do waterboarding in the storage area.
I'm about to, man. Fucking hit me, Ghislaine Maxwell.
All right. Dude, all right. Also, going into that whole entire, old people are going out, man. My parents itself, they're going out and trying to, go to those Leilina parties, And, when I went to that new Anaheim packing district in Rancho, there was old people dancing and living life, dude. People want to live life. This is depressing.
Hey, look at the end of the day, they've had their lives. They've lived it. There's been a million other things that they've lived through. And, when they were our age, if you're 60 years old, 70 years old, they were saying you're going to die of AIDS. You know, you're gonna die of this, you're gonna die of that. They were told every day Russia was gonna nuke them. So let them live. Obviously, we are going to be fine. We have better immune systems. This is, you know, everyone's so mad at nature doing what it does best. Weaning out the weak. I know that's controversial and fucked up, but if you have weak immune system, weak heart, weak every liver, because fatty liver, fatty kidneys, fatty, you know, high cholesterol, if you're unhealthy or if you're perfectly healthy to the news, you shouldn't be living a lavish lifestyle.
Oh, hold up. Almost done. I'll be right now.
So, okay, we got one more thing to talk about. Let's get to it now because it's already been over an hour. And that is, boom, boom, boom. Yes, RT News. Russia. Ha ha ha. You don't know. We worked for the Russia the whole time. Russia. Ah ha ha. The Kremlin. Oh, Putin. All right. Actually, quick, before you say this, there's a meme that's like, came out, just like, Vladimir Putin, I thought presidents are only allowed to work for, or be president for 8 years. And he's like, 8? And it's the count going 8, and he turns it sideways and makes an infinity. So quick, it's funny. All right,
That's funny.
Roger Stone, not the other Stone that I got a little mixed up with when he got arrested. I heard it on the news. So we all make
Oliver.
mistakes. Yeah, not Oliver. So he commutes his sentence, right? A lot of people are freaking out. So before we start this, commute does not mean exonerated or pardoned. That means he just doesn't need to serve his time. So instead of going to prison next week where he kept asking for extensions and a mistrial and a retrial, they're just going to say, now you don't go to prison, but you still have it on your record.
Charge.
You have the charge on your record, right? You know, I think he's coming out with a song called "All I Want for Christmas Is the Charge Is Dropped." I don't know if you see that. I think that's a collab with somebody.
You're writing that with him, no?
Yeah, it is. Just because my name's Darius doesn't mean I know how to rap, George. So now, this is misleading. He's charged in the Russian Gate probe. Now, he wasn't charged for treason, because you would get 6 years for treason, because if he actually conspired with the Russians as they were trying to get him on, he would be going away for a lot longer than that, because that's considered treason. What happened was he lied and gave false information during the probe that didn't lead him to being guilty of said lies. Wait, hold on. So you're telling me that, George, hold on. The government lied, used false dossiers, spent millions of dollars, had false accusations, were already exonerating Flynn, were asked by Obama and Biden and Susan Rice personally to ask Comey to, a day after they already exonerated Flynn, to go after all these people, to continue Russian Gate, already knowing that they didn't have any information, actual credited no information. They knew for a fact this was all a hoax. They lied, they spent your money, and they wasted your time. But he lied during the trial. He lied to the Senate and the Congress. So that's why he's going to jail, because he gave false information and corrupted a witness. That's what happened. Whatever. So that's why he's going to jail. He had a trial. They sent him to a second trial that he had with like an actual jury, not the Senate, that actually gave him the sentence for lying to Congress and the Senate. So weird, right? So a lie led to a $33 million investigation that led to his prison time. So nobody's getting in trouble for the treasonous lies and spying and the hoax and the spending our money. They're only getting in trouble for lying to the FBI that set them up. The FBI and the Democrats set up Roger Stone and Michael Flynn. They lied. We have proof that they lied and set them up. We have proof that they were supposed to exonerate them. We have proof it was a hoax. We have more proof that this is real, that this was false, than Russian bounties. That's actual. Even Colin Powell, the scumbag, even said that the news went too far and jumped on the bandwagon before having any credit. Because Colin Powell knows maybe we shouldn't, go against our intelligence and lie and spread misinformation to go to war. Because Colin Powell did it already. So maybe he has a little bit. Remember about burning your hand? You got to learn your lesson. Maybe he learned his lesson, or maybe he's bullshitting. I don't care. But he's actually saying something that he went against. He actually said before, he used to be the one that said to the news, go with the story. Now he's saying,
WMDs.
Don't go with the story because it's actually false and you're taking it too far and you're getting, again, people back into hysteria, causing dangerous people and dangerous things. Dangerous snowballs.
Like, going back into John Brennan lying about the CIA not spying on people, like,
John Brennan lying a lot. He's a fucking criminal liar.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
all these
he lied
politicians.
To Congress,
Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg just lied to Congress, and Project Veritas proved they lied. And not only did nothing happen to him, but they fired one of the people that they caught on camera, essentially saying that Mark Zuckerberg lied to Congress. So, crazy, right? Not only that, people continue to lie. Like George Carlin said, I'll put my hand on the Bible, I swear to tell the truth, so help me God. Because they don't care, they don't believe in him. And so this guy, look, I'm not saying he's not a criminal or he is a criminal. What I'm saying is what they did was illegal to get him to get in trouble, right? And the problem is if they can get someone who's rich and powerful that way, they could do it to you. Because this guy wasn't playing the game and wasn't one of the players that they wanted. And that's a problem. Shifty Schiff today was on Rachel Maddow saying, criminal, that Donald Trump is exonerating criminals, his criminal friends like Michael Flynn and Roger Stone. First of all, the courts exonerated and dropped the case against Michael Flynn. The FBI has written reports saying that they were going to entrap him and lie to get him to lie. You committed treason, Shifty Shift. And I know you're smart. You're all smart. Most of these people are pretty damn smart. And they know you're stupid. They know most people are stupid. And they'll follow their bullshit lies because they're smart enough to control the masses. The smart control the dumb and the weak. And Shifty Shift is a fucking traitor. He shouldn't be given personal information. He should not be given. If he is willing to go on Rachel Maddow within 2 hours of this happening and to call people criminals and traitors and leak information. Maybe he's the leak. I think he's the leak. How much you want to bet he's the fucking leak? He is. He gets all the pertinent information and he leaks it to them. He leaks it. I bet money. I'll bet money right now.
He's on the intelligence
he's
committee.
The head of the intelligence committee. He's literally the head of it. He's supposed to get everything. He gets everything. And he leaked it, most likely. He is a traitor and a coward. He's a criminal.
I'm 100% sure he's a pedophile.
Oh, in his eyes. He looks like a little boy.
Dude, he does. That's all I'm like, some people you could just tell. Some people you could tell they're gay. Some people you can tell, like, they're a pedophile. Yeah. Some people you could tell are dicks. Some people you could tell are bitches. Sometimes you could just fucking tell, like.
And this guy is a scumbag. The Super 8, which are Republicans and Democrats, scumbags. These intelligence committee monsters continue to lie, push narratives, go to war, and profit. They're monsters. They're not a part of your. They're in a gang, and you're not invited. They're in a club, and you're not invited. That's just how it is. And again, it comes down. He admitted it. He is a pedophile creep, who's an elitist. And Trump is a mobster. It's out of his own words, he compared Trump to being a mobster. Saying that these people are criminal mobsters. But the difference between a criminal mobster and a pedophile is a pedophile rewards you for snitching. Maybe with a little boy or girl. I don't know how they reward you. Maybe for something from Wayfair. And nice little cabinet named Samoa. Or
Jesus Christ.
would you rather have a mobster who likes clean streets, everyone to make money, you shut your fucking mouth, we kill snitches, and we also kill people that hurt children? Who do you want? Who do you respect more? And obviously, Black Lives Matter have proven time and time again, in the Democratic Party, they don't care about children. And I'm not talking about the 3,000 aborted fetuses a day, because I really don't care about that. That's not, I haven't been in that situation. If I'm in that situation, I will have an opinion. I'm not in that situation, so I have no opinion about it. But that is that's a factual number. Look it up.
He should be investigated by the DOJ over his collusion with the coup leaker, and he should not get a pardon.
Yeah. Not only that, he's leaking information. He tried to start a coup. He has committed treason. He literally has spout classified information. He literally does nothing but tarnish our way of life. And it's like, look, I'm sorry that Trump's a mean guy. I grew up with a father that was a straight shooter from Chicago. You think what Trump says is crazy? You should hear the shit my father says to people on the regular. My dad's crazy. Okay, if you grew up with a city father or a foreign father or a father, you know they're not beta cucks. A real man is honest, cares, and does the right thing. And guess what? Sometimes the right thing ain't pretty. Sometimes caring doesn't always take in the right way, and sometimes honesty isn't nice. And that's the problem. These kids were coddled their whole lives. Right? These children in America are coddled and told they're special. My special little boy. They said they were going to save the world and change the world, and they're not. They're making it worse. And one of these days, one of two things is going to happen. One of three things. You know what those three things are?
What?
China is going to take over, and they're going to stomp all those kids out and stomp everyone out and make them into dead or slaves or worse. Two, the NWO is going to happen, right? And they're using you just like the Nazis used the brown shirts to cause chaos, just like Mao used, the people to cause chaos and to burn flags and to bring monuments down and to hate the government, to hate everyone, and hate the way of life because their new socialist way is going to work. And then firing squads this minute they have the power. So the NWA is going to do that. Or NWO. And, or the final option is there's going to be a pushback. And the pushback ain't going to be pretty. And it's going to be American Civil War, or Americans killing other Americans, or just people just getting fed up and bad things happen. The way they're pushing people and the way they're pushing this world and allowing China to creep in, allowing the New World Order to creep in, which they might be linked. See what happens. Because if China's not the leader, they're not going to allow it. That's just how it's going to be. They're not going to allow the New World Order unless they're the number one. So there might be a conflict of interest. Because China might be being used by the New World Order to do this, and then they're going to get wiped out. I don't know.
That's an interesting take. So just FYI, talking about going back to Schiff and this whole entire bullshit of him getting mad that Roger Stone, Adam Schiff and Debbie Wasserman also advised think tank led by Jeffrey Epstein's brother. So, yeah, this was back in. This article came out in August 2019.
At the end of the day, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were under their nose for 28 years. Most of these politicians have been in it for over 30 years. Some of them up to 50, 40 years. Longer than I've been alive. Most of these Super 8 politicians, leader politicians, these spouting treasonous monsters have been stealing your rights from the Patriot Act and beyond. They have been doing nothing but belittling and stealing everything that our core values are. And they know that there's a tide coming. And they're going to sell you out down the river. Because one of two things, they're either too old and they're going to die soon, or they're just going to dip out with all their money. They don't care about you. They're using you. Just like how the Nazis used the brown shirts to cause problems and then killed the brown shirts afterwards. Either they made them into Nazis or they killed them. Just like Russia did that. Everyone has done that. They cause civil disobedience, civil disorder, and madness. They were all friends. They're all friends.
Dude,
let me tell you something.
One big club.
Look, I'll admit there are pictures with Trump and Epstein. But then look at where those pictures are. Are they in New York? Are they at one of Trump's parties or Epstein's parties, a socialite party, where there's literally 1,000 other people there? Or are they on his island? Do that homework for me. That's your homework for tonight. Figure out where those were. Because again, there are pictures with Trump and Epstein. And that's not kosher, as Epstein would say. And so, look that up. Figure that out for me. Because if there were on Epstein Island, that's a problem. If they're in New York, Manhattan, at a Trump party with 1,000 other people, what does that mean? Who's there? What important people are there? I could also find a picture of Trump with Al Sharpton. I could find a picture with Trump with Snoop Dogg.
And Reggie Jackson.
Michael Jackson, Reggie Jackson.
All the Jacksons.
Anybody. Seriously, just look up Trump with, and type in someone who's been super famous in the last 40 years. He's most likely been with them. So, am I saying he's not a mean guy or hasn't done anything nefarious or doesn't do anything bad? No. But what I'm saying is, I prefer a mean guy to a pedophile. Any last thoughts?
Nice.
All right, guys.
All
right.
Live in a simulation.
Yeah, right.
I fight for the users, though.
I fight for the user. Right? So, hey guys, you're either used or abused. Rather be used than abused. Ask all the people that Ghislaine Maxwell encountered. Hey guys, keep your eyes open, all three of them. Till next time.